Hi guys, Scott here from Outlaw Garage. We've got something very unique hitting the channel today, and we're officially in a barn. This beautiful bus is a 1959 Mercedes Benz Luxo bus. It was imported into Australia about 5 years ago. Actually came from Austria, came through Vienna, and here it is today for us to take a look around it. There are a lot of cats around here. The cats are here to keep the snakes away, as we are in Australia. There we go. I think we've got a friend. Hello. There we go. Look at you. This is genuinely the first time we've ever seen one of these, and although they do look like they've got a few Volkswagen parts on them, they are different. It looks like it's, I think we'll point it out a little bit later, it looks like a bit of deluxe trim. The headlights do resemble a little bit Volkswagen about them, but they're not. It's obviously what you would term a samba style bus with all the windows in it. It is front wheel drive, and it's a COE, so cab over engine. It's got a little 4-pot in it. I think it is a Mercedes 190 engine in there. Looking on the outside of it, it does have a little bit of patina there, but I think we might find some panels on the inside of the bus which are replacement ones. I think you can get spare parts for these in Germany all over the place. I think they've actually got quite a cult following, so these are a little bit unique. They've got obviously this part still where it's rusted, but all these panels are actually aluminium. The floor inside I suspect is going to be wood. Got a little bit of rust on the outside. Normally on this trim it kind of sits in between there, and you can see the windows and stuff. It might have had a bit of a ding at some point, but you can see there it does need some attention. It seems like the side panels might be the aluminium part, and then all the corners are actually steel. Lights and things on there. It does have a nice badge on the back. Let's see if we can see that there. Mercedes badge 0319D. This is going to be someone's new pride and joy. A bit of work to do here. The rubbers are actually, they've not gone crusty. These ones have gone your typical, like they've gone hard, and you know, you'll probably have to chisel those out. But these ones are actually still supple, so they'll be a little bit easier to kind of get out. You can see it's just got swelling in a few spots there. We're going to open it up and actually take a bit of a look inside. So I think the door opens. There we go. That's the driver's side entrance. What we've got here is we do have, that's the Mercedes 4-pot 190 engine. These seats actually have the original trim on them as well, which is from, the material is from a gullwing. As always, a classic Mercedes steering wheel. They are a beautiful touch on the car. The dash and the dials there, so it's kilometers an hour. It looks like it could actually go up to 90 kilometers an hour, but I'm not quite sure it will get to that. It's got a temp gauge, it's got a fuel gauge. I'm not sure what this is, so it's only got a 2-pedal setup. I'm wondering if that is somehow connected for the gear shift, because it's got stop 0, 1, 2. So I wonder if that's the shifter mechanism, because down here it's I tell a fib, it's got 3 pedals but no shifter. So I'm not quite sure what's going on there, unless that 3rd pedal is for something different. But I would have thought that was the accelerator, and we've got a clutch and a brake, but I don't see a shifter anywhere, so I've got no idea how you would actually drive that. It's got buttons for days as well. It's an interesting setup. I do like this. So here for the indicator, that must have lit up at some point. I've got an old church key here as well, standard for this kind of period vehicle. It looks like that might actually, that I would suspect that's for the engine or the back, and it's actually got a proper key up there, a little bit like the Tempo setup at one stage. We are going to sit in the driver's seat because this is probably, as much as there's cat hair and there's all kinds of stuff over the seat, how often are you going to get to sit in one of these things? Air vents up the top. The windows actually come round a long way, so the side windows are actually slightly in front of you, so there's a hell of a view there. Padded dash, that's all in the same colour as the seats, but obviously it's just worn a little bit, but that'll be nice. All the vent, all of it there. Now in the back, this was originally a 10-seater. It has been converted at some point into a camper, but it was originally a 10-seater, and these were used to ferry people backwards and forwards from the airport and then take them out on VIP trips around the city. See, there's a few parts there, all the wood trim down the side. It is a wood floor, but we are confident that we can walk through it. All the windows here. Wow, look at that. That's the cowling for the engine, again in the blue trim. It's got all the elements there. These are actually the spare panels for the front of the bus. As we said, you can buy parts for these from Germany really easily because of the cult following that they've got. That hatch opens at the rear, so that must have been like a small luggage area. It must have been, as the seats maybe were here, you must have been able to open the back and kind of shove some luggage in. It's had some ventilation in it at some point, because I imagine with all these windows it got really warm at some point. But there we go, that is it. We might take a photo of that and see if we can see what that says there, and see if it's got a little bit more history on it. It's a little bit hard to see with our glasses, and it is a little bit grubby there. When they imported it, there are some issues with asbestos with it, so I think brakes were the main problem with asbestos, and I think there was some floor covering underneath that the asbestos had to be removed. That was all done obviously before it was shipped over here, and they'd had some plans at one stage to replace all the running gear and really replace the frame and the chassis, and actually put an electric chassis and brand new frame underneath, because then you could probably drive it. And imagine that little 4-pot engine when you sat on it is not an amazing place to kind of be. It would have had brakes and it would have been able to stop. I'm going to wander up here, see if we can have a bit of a look at it from the top. So they were going to do all that with it and then restore it and then drive it around for the family, but it's a big job, and I think it's going to cost a reasonable amount of money, obviously, to put this back on the road, and time as well. These jobs are always like, it's years, this is, before it's back on the road in any sensible fashion. Obviously it's all leaf spring, so once you get under it, and imagine there's a hell of a lot of work to do there. These things are probably worth, I think in Germany, I think they're, because of the cult following, I think they're around that $350,000 kind of mark. But looking at the restoration, you're probably going to pump in You got to be in this for a couple of 100,000 as well, I would have thought, by the time you've got to it. Painting on its own is going to be expensive, because it's not just a car, it's 2 and a bit cars I would have thought you're paying for painting. So there's a bit of work there, and getting the engine right and everything. There is a job there, that's for sure. Just had to come and see it though, because I've never seen one of these before. There must be, I think there were a couple of these in Australia, but they've probably been shipped back to Germany because of the cult following that they've got. Very much like Volkswagen buses, they come in a variety of ranges. So this is probably what in VW terms would be the samba version, but they came as utilities and trucks and all kinds of things. So it looks like the fuel tank filler is down there, which is actually really low. I thought it'd be a little bit higher so that the fuel kind of flowed in really easily, but I wonder where the fuel tank is. It must be quite low, because you wouldn't want to try and fill it and pump it through. That's a little bit strange. We've actually just tried to open the front there to see if we could see the radiator setup and everything, but that feels like it might need a little bit of a crowbar or a jimmy in to get that open. But there she is. And all that panel and all the rust part is all available inside. And then all down here, it's actually solid. Shall we have a look underneath? There's a football under there. All the leaf springs under there. Oh, the exhaust. That's all the engine mount. Like we said, this bus has actually been sold now, so it's off to a new owner. Our details have been passed on to them, so I hope they do get in touch so that we can kind of see how this restoration progresses over. It's going to be a few years, this is, but this is a cracking piece of machinery. This Mercedes Benz bus Luxo is absolutely fantastic, and definitely worth the effort to come out here today. It took us a couple of hours to get out here, and absolutely fantastic to be here. So hope you've enjoyed the video. Something really unique. Please give it a big thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. We'll see you later, guys. Bye.